I'm Greg Rugen, and welcome to What's Your Point, where our panelists call it like they see it. Let's greet them. Starting us off, Bob Price, Associate Editor of Breitbart, Texas. Next up, former Houston City Council member Sue Lovell. In the 3 spot, writer and public policy consultant Charles Blaine. Batting cleanup, the birthday girl, attorney and political commentator Nyanza Moore. And closing us out, Bill King, well-known businessman, columnist, and fellow at Rice University's Baker Institute. Let's begin.
In this proposal, a Hispanic Texan has 1/3 the political value of a white Texan under this plan, and a black Texan 1/5.
It makes little sense to connect inner-city Houston all the way to Liberty County, 50 miles away. These areas do not share the same priorities, challenges, or way of life.
Let's just call it what it is. It is a deliberate, intentional, racial gerrymander.
When you look at these maps and doing this to the black and brown community in Texas, that's evil. And I don't think you'll ever win.
Voices of protest from the floor of the Texas House, where an overwhelming Republican majority voted to change congressional boundaries mid-decade in a bid to deliver 5 additional House seats to the GOP column. Republican redistricting Chairman Todd Hunter was bluntly honest about the aims of the reconfiguration.
Well, one of the reasons is for partisan reasons under Rucho, and to give Republicans an opportunity where they haven't in the past.
And then there was this from Republican House member Katrina Pearson, an African American.
I can tell you that more and more minority voters are voting their values, not their skin color.
Panel, the politics and the math made for a foregone conclusion in Austin, although there's no guarantee Republicans will ultimately get what they seek. And we're starting with the birthday girl this morning. Nyanza Moore, your thoughts as we see this Republican power play come to its conclusion?
Well, I believe that the Republicans did exactly what they set out to do. They made it plain at the beginning. I thought the Democrats were going to step up, and when they left the state as a unified front, some of them came back to Texas based on a lie or a scam. And if you were really going to hold the line for gerrymandering, then Representative Collier, who I take issue with, if you broke the line and you didn't stand the line or walk the line, then you came back to Texas and you got hoodwinked, then don't grandstand now claiming that you're so upset about what they did, because you should have held the line and this would not be a conversation. When one Democrat folds, it's like the entire chain folds. So now we all have to look to our chagrin because a representative was too weak to stand strong for Texans who she's supposed to protect, and now she wants America to watch her while she's locked up in a chamber for a vote that she should have never been there in the first place. So the gerrymandering issue is not something new. This has always been the way it's been. If people want to vote for who represents them, then I suggest you take it to the polls and stop complaining. If you're a Democrat out there and you saw somebody locked up in the chamber, I wonder why all the Democrats didn't ask to be locked up in the chamber. They're not standing as one, and that's the problem.
Bob, your take here.
Well, I think that's a very interesting perspective.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob.
I'll give you that one for your birthday.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so the runaway Democrats came back, as Nyanza pointed out. Now many of them are facing a fine of more than $9,000 for their behavior of running off and abandoning their job and running off to Illinois and California and jet setting all over the country. But as Katrina Pearson said, this is about ungerrymandering the gerrymandering that's been going on for decades. You know, and Republicans, in a 100-year history when the Republicans were in the minority of Texas, they never once walked out of a legislative session to avoid doing their jobs. Across the nation, there are 9 states that are run by Democrat governors that have populations, Republican populations, of between 38 and 52% that have 0 Republican representation. There's 2 more states that have only 1 Republican congressman. If you just had 1 additional Republican seat in those states, this whole thing wouldn't be necessary or being required. But now you've got California's going to try to run an election to see if they can do the same thing. Illinois may do the same thing. But now you've got other Republican states, Ohio and Florida and several others, that are going to bring another 10 Republican seats to the table. So good luck with that.
All right, 30 seconds worth of insight, Sue.
Yeah, gerrymandering. Look, this came from the president saying, find me 5 seats. I don't care how you do it, but do it. And so, no, it's not illegal what they're doing, but let's be clear. We have a president that's afraid that he's going to lose in the midterms. He's got to go pick up some votes. So he goes to the states where he controls the governors and says, do this, and they do it. And it's very disruptive. But this is about a president that's worried he's going to lose the midterm, told Texas to do his bidding, and they did.
All right, Charles, you probably heard it from your mom. 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Right.
And so we clearly had gerrymandering in bright blue states, but we did the same thing.
I mean, what we had in bright blue counties here, Harris County, we did it, and I didn't hear the Democrats complaining when Commissioner's Court redistricted and redistricted Commissioner Cagle out of a seat. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we have the Democrats who fled, and they got airtime and fundraised as, the resistors of this, and then the Republicans on the other side fundraised and got airtime as the enforcers, and we spent $2 to $3 million on a special session and got nothing out of the first one. And so taxpayers are left holding the bag as always.
All right, Bill, I end with you by design. Just more evidence that the system's broken?
Gerrymandering started with a representative named Jerry back in, I think it was the early 1800s. It's been practiced by both parties for the entire history of the Republic. We got really good at it once we got census tract data and we had computers to be able to analyze this stuff a lot faster. It's gotten worse and worse over time. This is a result of the 2-party system. I mean, George Washington spent a third of his farewell address warning us about the evils of 2 political parties having control of the country, and he described exactly this situation. John Adams says, it is the worst evil possible under the Constitution. This is what the 2-party system gives you. By the way, while you may condemn this going on, from the participant standpoint in a 2-party system, it is a logical thing to do to maintain their power. The only way you do this is not by asking them to be better, but to change the incentives.
Gonna leave it there for now. Still to come, the bad old days of one-shot, high-stakes academic testing will soon be done. But up next, the Lone Star State's new electoral map, certain to create chaos in the coming battle to represent Texas 18. While the new Texas congressional maps are certain to visit the inside of a federal courthouse in the very near future, the reconfigured boundaries have created chaos for candidates and voters focused on Texas 18, the historic district formerly represented by Barbara Jordan, Mickey Leland, and Sheila Jackson Lee. Under the new map, CD 18 has been redrawn to encompass much of adjacent Congressional District 9, represented by none other than Al Green, who analysts tell me would be well served to abandon his current seat and seek the 18th. Panel, it's a textbook example of the term crackin' and packin', and could well impact whether folks like Christian Menifee, Amanda Edwards, and Jolanda Jones continue to seek the currently vacant seat. Sue, what's going on here? What happens next?
Who knows? Truthfully, who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it could be possible that, Congressman Green decides because 9 he can't run in anymore, that he's going to join in 18. The thing is, what's the timing? When is he going to do that? Are we going to have the special election and then again there'll be a primary? Will he wait? Which is difficult for people that are running that race. 2 candidates are giving up their positions. Jolanda's state rep and Menifee is county attorney, to give them up, and then is he going to jump in then in the primary race and run against him? So right now it's a big mess. We'll wait and see. Everybody's waiting to see what Congressman Green's going to do. Yeah,
we look over at Austin. Lloyd Doggett says he'll step away. He's been serving in Congress for a long time. If this map is upheld, same could be said potentially for Al Green. Nyanza?
Listen, I'm so tired, and I love Al Green. He was not my congressman in the 22, then they redistricted me, and now he was my congressman in the 9th, and so I guess now he's going to be in the 18th, so I don't know what's going to happen. My point is this. I am so sick to death of these people who have been in power for at least 30 years. If you've been a congressman for 30 years, it's time for new blood. I'm sorry, you had your shine. You just want to lay in state at the Capitol. I get it. You're going to be dead anyway. You won't even be there for that. My point is this, let some new, fresh blood come in. I said it about 3 months ago that Yolanda Jones was the only person who's going to stand up for the people in the 18th. I said that knowing that Christian Menifee was in the race, knowing all these other ones, Amanda Edwards, I love them. However, we need a fighter. We need somebody who can speak truth to power, somebody that when the chips are down, she'll stay the course. She stayed away from the state and did not come back for a vote and get suckered into that. We don't want a sucker, and we also don't want somebody who has to move from district to district to district just to find a win. If you can stand on business in the 9th, then stay and run in the 9th. Maybe you should try to actually campaign and convince the people in that district that you now belong to actually vote for you instead of just going and stealing someone else's shine. It's Yolanda's turn and nobody else's.
Charles, there's scuttle out there that if Al Green decides to run,
it's my birthday.
That Christian Menifee will be asked by the powers that be. We know who that is. Boss Hogg to step aside.
Yeah,
well,
he needs to.
I have it on good authority that he's not getting out of that race.
Okay, that's good.
But it is interesting. I think this is the classic power struggle we've seen in this district time and time again. And it's, are we going to, and I say we, because I live in the district too, shift from this older model that has been
Sylvester, whoever,
to a younger generation. And I think, you know, the district has been kind of denied that opportunity a few times, and I think this is the opportunity to do so. And I think in order to cement his legacy, Congressman Green should just step aside and usher in the new generation rather than hold on to it and say that this is mine until...
He cemented it with the cane.
A vote for new blood. Up next, she's drawn national attention for the sheer ferocity of her fight against President Trump's reconfiguration of congressional power. We're talking to State Representative Yolanda Jones live in studio on the other side of this break.